Dr. Murugeshwari to do the welcome?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Okay.
Good afternoon to
Yes.
all. On behalf of Department of Women's Studies, Balidasan University, Center for Women's Studies and NSS of Kaveri College for Women, in association with RAS, I welcome you all to this 1 month national level gender sensitization and capacity building program. Now I request Dr. N. Murugeshwari, Professor, Department of Women's Studies, Balidasan University, to render welcome address. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Neela. Good afternoon to all. It is my immense pleasure on behalf of Department of Women's Studies, Bharatdasan University, Kaveri College for Women, and Regional Association for Women's Studies. I welcome you all for the 1 month national online gender sensitization and capacity building program on gender, society, economy, and polity. Girls and women are systematically tracked away from science and math throughout their education, limiting their training and options to go into these fields as adults, particularly science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Why so few women are in this field, particularly in STEM? Solving these questions, there is a need to discuss about gender concerns in science, technology, engineering, and maths. All these gender matters will be discussed by today's session. Yes, today we have a renowned person, Dr. Rita John, Professor and Head of the Department of Theoretical Physics, University of Madras, and Vice President of Regional Association for Women's Studies. She is going to talk about gender concern in STEM. Welcome you, ma'am. On behalf of the organizer and my own behalf, I welcome all the distinguished participants across the country. Welcome you all. So in this juncture, I welcome the convener and organizer of the program, Professor Manimegala ma'am, Dr. Shubha and Dr. Neela. So once again, I welcome you all the participants for the 1 month national online gender sensitization and capacity building program. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your warm welcome. Now I request Dr. N. Manimeghalai, Dean of Faculty of Arts, Director and Head, Department of Women's Bharatdasan University, to introduce our today's resource person. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Neela, for the continuous support and doing all the work necessary for this 1 month long webinar. And as Madam Murugeshwari rightly pointed out, it is an important area, and thanks to UGC again. And we have our resource person, Professor Rita John, who was there in the inaugural to felicitate. And it was already introduced, and there is no need again to, but still to highlight some of the aspects again, that though she is from hardcore physics, she has been engendering science or remaining as a role model for other science faculty members, associating herself with the women's studies and women capacity building. And also in that capacity, she has also been associated with other institutions, serving in committees, etc. To mention a very few, though she has a long list, particularly the areas where she connected herself to women's studies. She ended a seminar, national conference on empowerment of women in science and technology, and edited the proceedings also. That is one of the important contributions, which is very much lacking. And second, she has also been recognized and invited for various seminars, conferences to chair and also serve as a speaker, particularly related to women's studies, women's scholarship, fellowships, etc. And to mention the very important contribution is associating herself with the United States India Educational Foundation Fulbright Scholarship, where particularly for the senior award and junior advanced research award for 2 countries, recognized for 2 foreign countries, where Madam has had served as a speaker for the year 2018 for the topic Women in Science and Research by the USIF for the Knowledge Connect program of the same, invited by the American Consulate. And as already pointed out, we have the UGC, we had the UGC capacity building program for women managers in higher education. In that, she was identified as one of the resource persons. We call it as trainer associates in that terminology. And she she has been serving as a resource person and would have had at least 50 and odd such training where she used to speak on women and research, both in Tamil Nadu and other states also. And she also has been associated with the DST Inspired program, where she has been involved in women empowerment programs. She represented the country to place, including China, Chicago, USA, to deliver plenary and special talks on, particularly related to women in science, engineering, and technology, and the scenario strategies in India, which is the topic which she will also be talking. And also, of course, wherever she is associated with the HRDC lectures or other programs, she has been talking on this women's studies and research process. And she has, to her credit, several awards. The most important could be that Young Women Scientist Award, and also Women Scientist Honor, and Academic Achievement Award, Women Achiever Award, etc. So these are this is in brief about Professor Rita John, and it is very important that we are having a science faculty with a lot of gender sensitivity to talk on a very important topic, the science, technology, engineering and technology and maths. So this is what it is called, STEM. There is a gap, that is what the gender gap continues in these areas, the participation of women in these areas. And there are also reasons given that women do not do maths or do not do science, but that has been refuted by many scholars across the world. And she herself remains as the model to do physics. As already told, that it is a very hardcore, it's not natural science, but physical science. And I welcome you, madam, for this webinar. And I also happy that she is the vice president of RAS, and she agreed to talk on this important topic. And I, on behalf of all the participants, I invite you, ma'am. Please, Dr. Rita John.
Thank you, ma'am, for your nice introduction. May I now request today's resource person, Dr. Rita John, Professor and Head, Department of Theoretical Physics, University of Madras, Chennai, and Vice President of RAS to take over the session. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the good introduction. I'm really privileged to be associated with Professor Manimekalai for a couple of years. And she used to be the motivator for many of us. And the last 10 years or more, I've been actively involved in women empowerment programs. And my personal association is always with the women in science and encouraging them to come up in academic ladder. We always think there is, not only in science, in general, a few decades back, even 1 decade back, we were just thinking there is a glass ceiling, and even now some people, yes, there is a glass ceiling still, and we are trying to break the glass ceiling and so on, but we need to take a deliberate effort to break that ceiling. So that has been my objective, with which I meet people and encourage people how we should come up in life, and if we think it is possible. So that's all. And my association with women and empowerment, and I'm warden of the women's hostel of the science campus of the University of Madras. That gives me a lot of opportunity. And even Dr. Manimekalai has visited, and she has also delivered few lectures for the women students, science students, where that's a very good platform for me to motivate them. And currently, for the past 1 year, I am the chairperson for Sexual Harassment Redressal Committee of the University of Madras. And Dr. Manimekalai knows how important it is. And almost of you are involved in gender studies, and so such responsibilities make us realize that we have to go a long way and empower women, especially in science. So with this introduction, let me just share my screen. I have not yet started with my PowerPoint presentation, and I need to share my screen. And is it visible now? I don't think so. Is my PowerPoint seen?
No, ma'am.
You have to use that present
Rita,
now.
ma'am. Rita, ma'am.
It is already sent to Neela. If it is Neela,
No,
she
ma'am.
can
No,
also
ma'am.
present.
I didn't receive, ma'am.
Okay.
Rita, ma'am.
She's not there on the line. I think it has got disconnected.
She has to select just pressed now option, ma'am.
She must be trying to come, I think.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Rita, ma'am, can you hear me, ma'am? You are muted, ma'am. Rita, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Now, okay, can the admin just help? I'm
Yes, ma'am.
trying
Yes,
to
ma'am.
share
Yes,
my-
ma'am.
share my-
In your laptop,
Yeah.
to your
Yeah,
right, there
yeah,
is
the
one
present
option is
now.
called present now. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
You
yes,
have to click
I-
that. Yes, ma'am. You
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to click
I have
that.
done that. Yeah, I have done that. But
Then,
in my screen, only yours is seen. Your entire screen, a window.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You have to select the
A window.
entire screen. Your entire screen.
That is what I'm selecting, but I'm able to see only you. Yeah.
Ma'am, you have to click
One
present now
minute.
option.
Yeah, I know that. I'm doing it. Just a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You have by chance shared the PPT to me?
Just a
No.
minute. Am I able to say?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am. Yes,
yeah.
ma'am. Now the presentation is visible, ma'am.
Yeah,
It is coming.
Yeah. Just a minute. Is it seen now?
Yeah.
Ma'am, you have to select PPT presentation. Click the presentation, ma'am.
The screen only is there. Presentation has to come.
That is what I'm saying.
No, ma'am. You need not press stop presenting, ma'am. You just click the PPT, ma'am.
Just a minute.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It has come.
Just a minute.
It has come.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it was hanging. Okay, fine. Thank you. Sorry about it.
No.
Sometimes,
No issues, ma'am.
Can you see now, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's visible, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you, ma'am. Thank
So
you.
sometimes the technology let us down like this, and we cope up with that. And the topic is, of course, about the technology. So now coming to gender concerns in STEM. Before going, I would like to appreciate all of you for attending this topic, which we need to know for our own self and our own sibling or our own children in the days to come. And therefore, it becomes important that we familiarize ourselves with some of the concerns and also the opportunities and how we are going to take forward and utilize and optimize all the facilities available for us. So now, as STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, and the presentation outline is going to be like this. I'm going to just talk about give general motivation, and it will be integrated throughout my speech, even though it's not going to be, because general motivation, unless we motivate ourselves, it is very difficult for us to break the ceiling, and I'm sure all of you would have experienced it at some point or the other in life. And then about gender studies, which you are familiar with, how this gender studies becomes important for women in science and technology, especially with respect to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And in this, what are the gender initiatives are taken by the government of India, and where do we stand? What is the gap between us and the initiatives taken by the government? Most of the time policies are there and programs are initiated, but most of the time people say there are no takers and women are not coming forward and they are not opting for all these things. But we have to put an end to it, and that's why this topic becomes important for us. Now I'm just putting a question ahead. Who is this? I want you to take a piece of paper, and though we are not directly interacting, let us just interact through the software and through the technology. And you can just write in a piece of a paper, who is this? So if somebody can put it in the chat box, and if Sanmin can just tell me, just a minute, if somebody can give one answer, the first answer. Any answer? Are you all with me? Hello? Is there any answer coming up, Edmund? No answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Any
Yes,
answer?
ma'am. I don't know, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Don't know.
So people are saying they don't know, and yes, because at 2 o'clock, 2:30 is really tricky. We have to keep everybody live. Thank you. So you don't know, so that's fine. But now look at the appearance and tell me who it could be. Is it a man? Is it a boy or a girl? Just looking at the picture, what comes to your mind?
Diana.
It should be
Princess Diana.
Princess Diana. A good guess. Somebody else? Okay. Okay, so Princess Diana, I take that answer. What made that person think that it is Princess Diana? The appearance?
Because she's beautiful.
Oh, you have said it. She. Already we have said she. She is beautiful. And then the dressing, you know, the very polite and beautiful look over there. And this is what is gender all about. So just by appearance and the dressing, and you associate certain characteristics with the person. But I want to tell you, who is this? This is Dr. Einstein. So now I wanted to know, Einstein at the age of 6 looked like that, but the same Einstein at the age of 76 looked like this. So the New York World Telegram says Dr. Einstein is dead at the age of 76. So now I want all of us to know this is what is called gender, and we associate with whatever we observe, we just give some association with the male or female. That's okay. But this is Einstein. I want you to know this. All these pictures, I think all of you will be able to understand. But at least by looking at this picture, you know this is Einstein, right? This is, most of you would have come across this picture of Einstein, and it is very common in institutions, in schools, and in some, motivation centers. And they just put up this picture, any one of these pictures of Einstein, and they give beautiful quotes of Einstein. So this is what is life. I want to drive in a point here. So everybody has got a beginning and an end. But in the case of Einstein, why we want to think very high of him? Because he started his research as an youngster. And then as he grew old and older, he contributed to science. He was passionate about what he was doing. So this is a general motivation. So we most of the time initiate, and when things become hard, when we take up more responsibilities, when we face challenges, we want to leave it and think of another thing. We don't want to say, yes, I have the potential to achieve. Let me cross this hurdle and let me go ahead and achieve. This is more so with people in science. So that is the reason I have just shown this picture of Einstein. Now, so reversibilities in the globe. So in physics, we talk about global reversibilities and irreversibilities. So then, now look at this particular picture. This is again a motivation with the known scientist. And the science teacher said the little Albert Einstein will never amount to anything. That means he is good for nothing. But Einstein changed it. So we are doing gender studies and various things and taboos we are carrying, but we can change everything, and we can change the attitude of people around. Maybe our own family members have different opinion about us, but we have the potential and the power to change all that. That's the capacity every woman has got. That's the first motivation I want to tell. So don't believe others' report. Don't believe your HOD or your peer. If you are convinced that you are the person with potential, do it. Go ahead and do it. This motivation is needed for people in science especially, and in general for everyone. Now the next question comes. Who is this? Just one answer I want. Very quickly, somebody type in your chat box, and admin, please convey it to me at the earliest.
Sure,
Yeah,
ma'am.
who is this? Any guess?
Participants, you can post it in the chat box.
Any?
Marie Curie.
Marie Curie. Thank you. So
Helen.
Helen, thank you. Thank you for your answers. I know you are very alert. Thank you for being very alert. Now, I want to reserve the answer for this question for future slides. Let's just reserve it as it is. Now coming to gender studies. So gender studies, you know about gender and women in science and technology. So women in science and technology is one of the branches or one of the subdivisions of gender studies. So in gender, we by and large cover various things like this. Gender studies is a field for interdisciplinary study, which we need to first of all understand. Interdisciplinary study devoted to gender identity and gender representation as a central categories of analysis. So any analysis you do, you have to have a gender perception in that. Any policy that you make, any decision that you make, however, whether it is small or big, gender perception should be kept in mind. And gender identity and gender representation should be kept in mind. So, and it is multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary, which we need to understand. Most of the time when we talk about gender initiatives or gender studies or women's studies, most of the time where people think it is only pertaining to women. And even in our university sector, when we want to give an awareness program or gender awareness program, immediately even good-minded and very dignified professors, men professors, for that matter, even women professors would say, okay, fine, I have 10 women students in my class. Let all the women students go for your program. But they fail to think it is not only for women students. When it comes to gender, even men need to understand certain things. Men need to contribute, and men need to play a very crucial role and very essential role in this matter of gender initiatives. Okay, fine. And another thing. So now I come to science and technology, because I said under this gender studies, I'm focusing a small portion for science and technology. Of course, engineering and mathematics would come under this title itself. So now, when we think of this multi or interdisciplinary study, gender studies is an interdisciplinary study. And when we involve ourselves, or when we want to conduct a program, and this is there by now, slowly the scenario is changing. But generally they say, take all the arts students. You want to convene a program, you give invitation to all arts department. You focus on this department, focus on English, focus here and there. But you forget the very important thing. You cannot do gender programs or gender awareness programs or gender sensitization association programs without including people from engineering branches, technology, and also science, fundamental basic science disciplines. So this paradigm shift is what is essential when we talk about the gender studies. So now I'm going to talk women and science under this umbrella of gender studies, women, science and technology in the past, and what is the present scenario, where the future is going to be, and what are we going to do about it. So now, coming to the gender bias, some of the terminologies I'm going to talk, which all of you know better. So what are the terminologies associated with gender bias? Masculine and feminine disciplines, and that's what Professor Manimegle just now mentioned. Certain disciplines you just decide. Mechanical engineering, no, that's meant only for men and not for women. And when it comes to basic sciences, physics, that's meant only for men and not for women students. So even disciplines are called or looked at or perceived as a masculine discipline and feminine discipline. And actually speaking, women have been achieving a lot in the so-called masculine disciplines, and they have done better, and they have even designed the army tanker, and they have tested it by themselves, and we know many achievers. But at the lower level, this kind of biased thinking is transferred to younger generation by few people who have not understood the concept correctly. And that's the reason we need to first tell people there's nothing like that. If you have passion and if you have interest, it is possible for you to achieve. And that's the thing which we have to sow in the minds of the younger generation, especially in school today. So next one is men are better at mathematics. Who said it? And people say, because that's logical, that's a little tough. You need to work with the numbers. Biology is something closely related with your cooking, about the vegetables, about the ingredients, and that's how and farming, and you can have a farm, you have this and that. So that's closely related with women, so they will be able to. Actually, that is also not true. And many women have proved it to be wrong. Men are good at physical sciences, women do best in life science. It's the same. And they also term certain things as hard sciences. And so hard sciences are meant only for men and not for women. Anything associated with the emotion and anything associated with the family and taking care of the family and associated any discipline like home science and farming, agriculture, these are the things meant for women. So this kind of a biasing is first the thing which affects women entering into science and technology. And then the differences between men and women, and actually speaking, when there's no masculine and the feminine discipline, or discipline which are meant for women, but actually speaking, the difference comes in the life stages and the demand on time. So when women finish their post-graduation, and our culture, most of them get married, and that is also slowly changing. After marriage, whether they will be able to study and childbearing and child rearing, how will you go to lab? So if you take up science or engineering disciplines, technology disciplines, then you would find it difficult, and therefore it's better for you to do some other course. So now I'm not saying one course is better than the other. I'm just saying the kind of a biased thinking, but it is not so. So yeah, there are a lot of flexibilities. Even after childbirth, we have a provision for us to bring the children. And I was teaching in Texas University, and that's very common. And having the crash and flexibility in the time, all these are introduced now. And therefore, even this is slowly diminishing. And masculine discipline and male academics have linear or normal career pattern. So this is also, see, when you come to research, when it comes to publication, they say men have a very good publication. Nothing stops them. All the time they publish, and therefore the women start lagging behind. And this is the general thing we discuss in our capacity building programs also. But this is not so with the technology available. That's why I always tell women, you use technology technology for your advantage. Actually, it is advantages for women. You can do something. We know we are multitasking. We can do something and use technology. Everything is available just at the click of a button. So you can very well read and you can assimilate and you can publish sitting at home. You take care of your children. But only thing is proper planning and prioritizing our responsibilities and having a very meticulous planning will help us to do better with our other responsibilities at home, especially when you take your maternity break and other breaks, taking care of the family. Technology should be very much useful for the women. So this concept is also slowly diminishing. Then women's attitude. So when the situation is changing and the technology is replacing all the difficulties faced or the hurdles, and our attitude need to change in the first place. So women's attitudes to teaching, research, and career in STEM. The women multitask and have other priorities. Most of the time we say we have other priorities. No, as a woman, how can I do? You block your mind. That cannot be permitted. So you tell yourself, if I think that way, I will try to, find means and I will plan it in such a way that my potential, I don't stop my interest or quench my interest or stop or underutilize my potential. That should be our attitude. And then do not have enough time to climb up the ladder if I take the step. Climb up the academic ladder, I mean. So you can very well climb up the academic ladder by making use of all the provisions, that is all gender initiatives, financial assistance, flexibility given, and flexibility in work, and your right in the workplace, your right to do the lab work, and working from home. If you make use of all these things, nothing should stop you from climbing up the academic ladder. The problem here is, one, women's attitude. Two, lack of awareness. Most of the women do not know the flexibilities they have, financial assistance they have if they are in STEM program. So there, as a women who are interested in gender studies, should reach out to people and introduce all these possibilities and motivate them to do well and climb up the academic ladder. And other barriers, psychological barriers are there, like psychologically limited career aspiration, low self-esteem, and feeling of intimidation. These things, I think, psychological counseling, I'm sure the women's studies departments take this component very seriously and identify people and give them motivation. Psychologically also, we need to approach women, especially in research. You do research and do, the term itself is research, right? You search for a result. If it doesn't come, you research. If it doesn't come, research. Research. That is research. So immediately you are just upset. This is the result I wanted. This is the procedure I followed. I spent so many hours in the lab. I did so much of hard work. I am not getting my result. So you are immediately upset and you want to, let's say, develop that self-intimidation or low self-esteem. That should not be. The self-motivation should be our priority in life. And then institutional, limited opportunity bias and lack of leadership. That generally we talk. So now I'm just touching the points very specific to STEM. And cultural lack of support, not being taken seriously, campus climate, and lack of network support for coping up time conflicts, lack of mobility. I'm sure you would have talked about these situational things in other topics also. And then in addition to this, curricular unfit for job, unfriendly learning environment, fear of sexual harassment, inadequate gender awareness, discrimination, approach in education, fear about technology. The fear about technology is one. See, always you should understand, everybody will not be familiar with everything. Everything has a starting point. So once you do something using a particular technology, you become familiar with that. And many people don't venture into it. And when I did a capacity program for women managers in higher education as a trainer, even opening some of the websites for research, some of the journal sites for research, and for that matter, even in very few cases of women I saw, even they don't have emails. They use their husband's emails. So that couple of years back, I'm sure that is slowly changing. So this technology friendliness should be developed. And maybe women study centers, this is my humble suggestion. Some of you have centers, and you have a lot of networks also. Please conduct a short-term course or 1 or 2 days workshop where you tell women to use the technology which is very relevant to them, and help them to come out of here, because there are different levels of women. Some are highly friendly with the technology. They are all the time with technology. I'm talking about women in academics itself, and some women are not venturing into that side at all. So even today's online classes, how many are ready to venture into online classes? So if women study science, I'm just suggesting, so you should be able to make use of the opportunity and the situation and enable one sector with the technology. So women who are well versed with the technology and the usage of it can come as a trainer, and you people can do the listening work. That's my humble suggestion. So now, continuing with this. Now, starting with women in the past, and very quickly, I will just touch upon few points and proceed further. So now, early beginning, this is just to give you a feel of it, and retarded continuity. How the early beginning was, women's contribution to science dates back to 300 BC. So we should not think we are struggling to do science. No, women were contributing right from 300 BC. Women had to pay heavy price to their contribution to science. If somebody is saying, I'm working very hard, but my friend, you have to also remember, women in science have paid greater price or higher price than what we are paying today. And most of the early scientists were self-taught, as entry to colleges was prohibited for women, and unprotected working environment and self-treatment had demanded even their lives. So like Margaret Cavendish, she was doing a lot of biology related one, basically preparing medicines and things like that. And it was unprotected research, because they were not allowed inside the college campuses. They were not allowed to use the facilities, and sometimes they allowed women without any pay. They could come and use some facility. They will not pay, but instead they should do some work inside the college campus and then leave, and not enrolled as a student or a faculty. And in this particular case, she was doing out of her own interest outside, and the unprotected environment, there was an explosion and she died. And this is how the early beginning was. And most of them published their work in pseudonyms. Most of the names we read in science today, they used men's name, because if they give their own name, a female name, they will not publish. So most of the good findings are now in the name of a man, but actually the woman, the actual discovery was by a woman. When they wanted to teach and pursue research in the university campuses, they were self-taught. Like, they used to borrow books and take books, sit at home and learn on their own. So when they wanted, after learning, and they wanted to teach or do some kind of a research in university campuses, the authorities reluctantly permitted them no pay and no recognition. This is a classic example. Even this restricted permission with no pay, nothing. Hypatia was just discussing with her student, one group of students, where the society did not like the management allowing her to come inside to discuss, and they came, the angry mob peeled her to death with oyster shell. So this is what is the past. Now coming back to this picture, who is this? And very quickly, I wanted to, this is about this lady, the forgotten life. This I'm taking as a case study. In 2 minutes, I will finish this. The forgotten life of Einstein's first wife. So who is she? She is Mileva Marik Einstein, Einstein's wife. And the most important thing, let me read it. She was a physicist too. And there is evidence that she contributed significantly to his groundbreaking science. And this is the article, and by Pauline, and I have given the website address also. And this is Mileva, Einstein's wife, and she contributed to his theories. I'm just taking few extracts from this. And in 1992, her father obtained, that is Mileva's father, obtained the authorization of the Minister of Education to allow her to attend physics lectures reserved to boys. So the procedure was so hard that her father had to take permission, official permission from the Ministry of Education. He attended only, this is about Einstein, the second one. He attended only a few lectures, preferring to study at home. So they were classmates, Einstein and Mileva. Mileva was methodical and organized. You see how women were. She helped him channel his energy and guided his studies, as we learn from Albert's letter exchange between 1899 and 1903 during school holidays. This is very important. 43 letters from Albert to Mileva have been preserved, but only 10 letters of hers remain. Again, discrimination. Now, I want to read this very quickly. This letter, again, about the extract from the same article. Their letters and the numerous testimonies show that Mileva, Marik, and Albert Einstein collaborated closely from their school days up to 1914. Albert referred to it repeatedly in his letters, like when he wrote our work on relative motion. That relative motion, physicists know how sophisticated the theory is. Without knowing the fundamental, being strong in mathematics and the principles of physics, you cannot do that. Now, Mileva contributed to that. Everybody is associating Einstein with the relativistic motion or theory of relativity. But now she is forgotten. Let me read it further. Their union was based on love and mutual respect. I want people to think when I read this, which allowed them together to produce such uncommon work, path-breaking research. She was the first person to recognize his talent. Without her, he would never have succeeded. Einstein would not have succeeded without Mileva. She abandoned her own aspirations. This is what most of the women do. She abandoned her own aspirations, happy to work with him and contribute to his success, feeling they were one unique entity. Once started, the process of signing their work under his unique name became impossible to reverse. Everything she allowed Einstein to sign in his own name, take all the patent, all the credit for himself. She probably agreed to it since her love, since her own happiness depended on his success. How beautiful. Some women are like this. But we should also face the consequence. Why did Mileva remain silent after that? Being reserved and self-effacing, she did not seek honors or public attention. And as is always the case in close collaborations, the individual contributions are nearly impossible to disentangle. So this was the problem. But what happened? Let me just put it in my, give you the background. After a few years, Einstein and Mileva had to separate, and Mileva had two sons which are mentally challenged, and she had to put them in the hospital. And that was the time Einstein, after a few years, he married another woman. He had a settled life. But Mileva was very, very, neglected, and she had to take care of the children. Finally, one of the sons had to be admitted in the mental asylum. She quit everything, stayed with him. She could not. She was taking tuition, and such elite theoretician, now taking only tuition, making meager money to take care of herself and the son. Finally, the son also died. And Einstein got the Nobel Prize for this. And Mileva said, at least the prize money should come to me. And Einstein partly gave it, but reluctantly. And she bought something, and to spend for her other children, she had to sell that also which became very, very poor and totally neglected. That was the end of Mileva Maric Einstein, one of the co-worker and the path-breaking scientist who gave the relative motion to the world. But her name is not known. This was the past. So now, crushed, not crumbled. I don't want to spend much time on this. And there were few women who stood against all this. And Caroline Herschel, an astronomer, German Sophie, the number theory of mathematics, so she only gave. Augusta Ada, in her name there is a code which is used by US military, and Caroline Herschel, she discovered few comets. Even in Tamil literature, if you see, the women were playing with balls, like Vasandavalli. There's a epic. So Vasandavalli played a ball. So Pongu Kanangure Mandila Kande Puranda Purandada, Kamguli Kandu Palendu Kandu, Madan Sidai Vandoda, Ingi the Kandila Minpadi, Indidai Tindada, Mala Pangaya Mangai, Vasanta Saundari, Pandu Paindad. This is Tamil literature. So now, can somebody make a ball out of flower? It needs a lot of prescription, but still it is possible. Today's technology is giving prescription for all the balls, but women had so much scientific thinking to make and to fuse it in such a way that they played. And this is what we see in literature. So these are all the prescription, the balls are made, but women did it on those days. So who says women do not have the ability to do hard science? Our ancestors have done it, and women use rods to smash things. In those days, fused rods were used. So what do you mean by fused rods? It's something like you make nano rods and you can fuse it together. தமிழ்ல சொல்லணும்னா நம்ம கட்ட விளக்கு மண்ணுன்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா, குச்சி எல்லாம் சேர்த்து கட்டுறது. So you take all the rods and fuse it and tie it. It will be very strong. Today we are doing research in nano rods, and those days, even 300 BC, our women, Tamil literature says 300 BC to 300 AD, Sangam age, even after that. And we talk about Kumbhakarnan, right? And how when the elephants rode over, he did not get up. When the horses went on him, he did not get up. But the women, when they were beating him with this stick called Ulaka, he got up. உறங்குகின்ற கும்பகர்ண உங்கள் மாய வாழ்வெல்லாம் இறங்குகின்றது என்று தான் எழுந்திராய் எழுந்திராய் கரங்கு போல விற்பிடித்த காலதூதர் கையிலே உறங்குவாய் உறங்குவாய் இனி கிடந்து விளங்குவாய். So now this is scientific thinking. Today nanotechnology is talking about it, but it is there in our literature. So women are associated with the usage of such things which today's technology is appreciating. So to make it even aware for that, so this is the this has a direct link with the breaking of the atom and also storage device in nanotechnology. So when Feynman said there's plenty of plenty of room at the bottom, and he said you can save the information of 23 encyclopedia on the tip of the pen. Everybody said he is father of nanotechnology, but Abayar has also said the information of 7 ocean can be contained in a small atomic size thing. So actually she wrote it to appreciate the content and the richness of Thiruvalluvar Thirukkural, but she had that scientific mind to write. She had that forethought. She had the ability to foresee things and to appreciate scientifically. But why can't we call her mother of nanotechnology is my claim. Forget about the past. And the scenario today is STEM in India in few minutes, and it is all available, and you should be able to take it. The STEM is an acronym, all that we have finished. And now coming to women in India. Now, women in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, education, it says we are less, which is 39%, and in governance of maybe 10%, and in corporate sector, and also in just a minute. So women in entrepreneurs only 10%. Women in industry is 12.7%. Unemployed women who are engineers is going to be the 40%. But actually speaking, in engineering, women are doing slightly better, but still, 40% of them do not go. This is our today's scenario. And this is what we need to think, keep in mind. And this is MHRD report. So now, if you see the enrollment and forget about age group enrollment discrimination, this is general. So now, if you see in all category of MHRD report, you see the enrollment of women is less, and even more less when it comes to science and technology. Now, talking about the dropout rates and why they are dropping out today, if you see the child not interested in studies, men 23.8 and women 15.6. What is the reason? That is what the analysis we need to do. And financial constraints, and why they are not interested to finance due to financial constraint 23.7, and female 15.2. That means, and engaging in domestic, these are all dropouts, and engage in economic attributes, and school is far off and unable to cope up with the studies. And this is interesting. So almost the difference is very less, 4.6, 4. That means women are also very much interested. They are very much interested, but when it comes to domestic activity, 29.7% of them are dropping out. So that means they are dropping out not because they are not having interest or they are not capable of doing it. It is something else. So we need to address all this. When it comes to marriage, there is no record of male. Always, this is a gender. That is what we are talking about, 13.9. So these are all the things. But let me go ahead with, and all these scenario is all available in the net, and how we are, and the positions in DRDO, and these are all national labs and CSIR labs and DRDO, and now women in the decision making or up in the administration level, even among the scientists, is very, very less. And we have only 38 CSIR research labs, and out of that, Dr. Mrs. Madhuri Dixit has been appointed as the director of Central Drug Research Institute, and no other woman. So presently, very few women here and there are coming to that kind of a post. And moreover, it is not about women who are taking up such administrative role, but gender sensitized women should take up the role. That is the problem we are facing. So I hope women's study centers, you take it seriously and tell at least sensitize women who are about to take up these positions. So it's all about it. So Indian National Science Academy report 2006 on science and career for Indian women, and the collaboration with the institute, and this is what they have come out with. And so done in collaboration with SNDT University, very clearly indicates the reasons for very few women in science and technology, particularly in CSIR, DRDO, and other research agencies, as sexual harassment, dual burden, long working hours, transfers from place to place, and they need to be separated from. So now, sexual harassment, there are redressal cells. Please, you see to that redressal committee members are put up in all institutions with their phone numbers, with their email, and they appoint some gender sensitized person as the chairperson for this redressal committees, because many women, even undergraduate and postgraduate women, have this problem. We need to take it very seriously. I'm sure the women's study centers, wherever you are, you please coordinate with the redressment cell and always tie that committee with you, so that they have the moral responsibility and also they have the strength to combat all these evil practices are happening in most of the institutions. Most of the institutions, they don't bring it out. And if the gender sensitized people are there in in the committee, it will certainly help the women to come up in science, engineering, and technology, because lab is involved. And these are all the things which I said. So as per the report 13-14, because the last 5-year plan report, and you will be able to see how the percentages, and in arts 44.9, and in the law 1.22, others it is 0.99, veterinary 0.09 percentage of women, and agriculture 0.2. So if you see, actually we are underrepresented. In science it says 18.11, but in science you should take all the basic disciplines and the related discipline, like physics, material science, electronics and physics. These are all associated. And then you talk about chemistry, this branches of chemistry, like that, all so many branches put together, it is 18.11 only. So these are all statistics and engineering, physics and math, and how the STEM discrimination, or how the representation is in the last 5-year plan. And it simply shows it is to be encouraged. In biology, the difference is not much. And in engineering, yes, a lot of differences there. Earth sciences, math, and computer science. Of course, we see a lot of changes are happening, but we need to be careful. So now coming to gender initiatives in few minutes. So in this scenario, I want to just quickly have a recap. So we have come through a long road. Women have played a major role, and few women were not very sensitive enough to protect their own rights. And that's how we have traveled through centuries. But today, still we see our enrollment, our representation is less. So we need to do something about it, to improvise the strategy, to improvise the statistics. So we talk about gender initiatives. So gender initiatives should start from within. We need to first put our finger and do wherever it is possible. Then we will think of what government has done and how we should make others do it. I want to tell you one thing, and I was the chairperson and domain expert for the physics books of Tamil Nadu government. So 2018, Tamil Nadu government changed all the books. In general, for 8th, 9th, and 10th, for science, I am the chairperson, I was the mentor. And 11th and 12th, completely I designed, and I was the domain expert and mentor for the physics books. You know what I have done? Initially, I have given scope of doing physics in the book itself. And when I did the scope of physics and what are the competitive exams they should take it up and how they should proceed and all the avenues possible, I have given in few pages. If you, this is the book. See, this is the book, Tamil Nadu government book, and you can see. So these are all the career development and initiatives. After giving all this, can you look at this page in the official textbook of Government of Tamil Nadu? This is my contribution. I have said gender initiatives by the government. So this is the only textbook, school textbook, which carries this. When I had the opportunity, I was able to convince the authorities and put it in my own book. So in this Tamil Nadu government physics book, I have given gender initiatives by the government of India, what all the possibilities in general, and also, so if you can, if you have, this book is available, e-book is available. This is physics, 12th physics, volume 2. Just before they finish the school, I have given this data. I have said what are the possibilities available for general people, and also STEM initiative I have given over here. So if you can have download this book or view this, we happen to have a book. You will be you should be able to understand the gender initiative. So we need to sow it in the minds of the girls when they are in school. That's why financially students are stuck, girl students, because of the economic, socio-economic impact on women pursuing science. That's why in this, where I have said how scholarships are available for women students, why they should use these scholarships, how they should tap all these scholarships available from different sectors. And I have also said science and technology scholarships for girls exclusively to go abroad and continue their education. It's available in the school textbook. So yeah, very quickly, DST has all these are covered. I have given the website in the book also. So Women Scientist Scheme of Department of Science and Technology. You have the Women Scientist Scheme A, where the scheme provides opportunities to women scientists and technologists who are breaking their career and pursuing research after a break. So please visit website, and of course a few components are changing now and then, but there are I believe possibilities for women, and there is women scientists to be to motivate women scientists to contribute to the development of the country. This is like campus to community. So if few women, men can also be involved in this. Please don't think it should serve the women in the community. But women should be a principal investigator. But men are also involved in this entire process of taking your research, your component, taking it to the community women. How you use science and technology to improvise the less privileged, underprivileged women. So who are underprivileged, and how your research, your science is going to help them. So you can make a small, maybe even people have made dryers for fisher women, and they make use of it, and like this small technologies for them. If they are, if your institution is very much closer to agriculture field, you think of using some technology and you help the women over there. So like this, DST gives funds. It's a very good fund. You should make use of it. And for workshops and training, they give funds. And the postdoctoral fellowship to women candidates, UGC exclusively gives. And and of course, UGC changes. The rules and regulations. You need to be updating yourself. But I'm telling you, the government has taken initiatives which we need to, and this is 55 years of age. Candidate should be 55 years of age as on the last date of submission of online application. There shall be relaxation. Now, how many women who are in their 50s are ready to make use of this facility? Please visit UGC website. And these are the requirements. Let me just skip it. So if you're very much interested, you can tell people to go into the website. I'm just telling possibilities. Now, very lucrative amount. A fellowship is also 38,800 per month for fresh, 46,500 per month after 2 years. So these are all financial available under this particular scheme. That is nature of assistance under the scheme. Please visit the websites. It is not peanuts just to work for 3,000 and 2,000. If they're really good scientists and they can associate themselves with the institutions by availing all these facilities, please visit the website. They have given all the explanation, the conditions, and the mode, how to apply. It's self-explanatory. Please tell your colleagues and others. And this is Curie. And this is for given that consolidation of university research for innovation and excellence. It's meant for women universities and in the past. So in the past, so and such things are, such things are initiated by our own government, and how many offers no Kiran knowledge involvement in research advancement through nurturing. So this is a mobility scheme for. Please note it. This is a mobility scheme for women scientists in permanent government job in institutions, research labs, universities to address the unemployment and relocation of women due to marriage, childbirth, taking care of elderly parents and parents-in-law, children studies when they move to new cities. They can resign and take jobs in new city or take long leave to avail fellowship for research under this scheme. So under the age limit is 50 years. So you want to relocate and you take a break and you can avail, but a standard expected is little high. So if you're forced to take up some assignment when you're doing very well in your research, you're doing very good in your career, but due to some reason you want to leave, then this is meant for such people. So at every level, there are schemes. So if you are just finishing PhD or after finishing PhD for 2 years, how you are searching for a job, if you are a woman scientist, there's a provision. And if you are already a career woman, due to some reason you are disturbed, there is a provision. So these are all the things. And Inspire is the science person. It's for all, not only for women, but you can tell women students that they should know the scheme at levels from school to doctoral level. Fellowships are given. It's adequate for them to meet out all their expenses. So they need not worry about their economic background. So they can study very well. And please inform school teachers also to inform the respective children to motivate them, even though the parents are not able to afford. There are such schemes, and they can take on. And in PhD selection norms, there is some small changes where they need to submit the proposal and they need to take the guide, and the guide CV also has some percentage of marks. So it is available, but school level, yes, school to college, BSc, BSc to MSc, MSc to research, all levels, this is covered. So with this, I would like to thank all of you for your patient listening. Actually, STEM is a very vast subject, but I had to give you in 45 minutes. I have just given you your thought, I just kindle your thought process. So how we were in the past and how we are today and what are available around us, how much we have utilized and how much awareness we have created to the other colleagues and the younger generation, and how we can take it forward, how we can inform school teachers. And my humble request is, if you have association with school teachers or even college teachers, please tell them to refer the Tamil Nadu government +2 physics second volume. That gives a lot of scope, and for in general for all, and specific such fellowships. All that I explained is given the website also. They can go through it. And so if teachers are informed, then it will reach the students. So thank you so much. I once again thank Professor Manimegle and her team for inviting me, and it was a wonderful time for me to interact. And though we are not in person meeting, it is really my privilege. Thank you so much for your patient listening. If you have one or two questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your thought-provoking words about gender studies. The content, the PowerPoints, the way you present, the way you deliver everything needs a rounds of applause, ma'am. Hats off, ma'am. It's like a rhythmatic presentation. Thank you very much for the exemplary presentation, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your patient listening.
Thank you, Professor Rita Jan. There are some questions I think Neela will present, but I want to also thank you for the exhaustive. I think you didn't have it with yourself, I believe. And two things you have contributed. One is, of course, the textbook. That is what every textbook should be, gender sensitive. And thank you for your contribution on behalf of all the women community. And the second, of course, you also suggested that we have to have a webinar on science and technology. So we will take it up, and will definitely be conducting that. Now, I think Neela, please check the chat box,
Yes,
and there are some questions.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Participants, do you have any queries? You can unmute your mic and you can ask. There is lot of appreciations, ma'am. One
There is
question,
one
ma'am.
question.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
What is improving the position of
Doing-
women in science and technology? Dr.
What
Rita
is-
Jan. Improving the position of women in science and technology.
So improving the position, first of all, I should say awareness. So many women have the potential, but they do not know where they should apply and where they should enter to explore the possibilities. One. And secondly, once we enter, it will not be a smooth sailing, and we should be able to perseverance is the second. And above all this, first identifying your own potential, or I should say passion. So don't force yourself to do something. I'm just focusing on women, science and technology, but I always appreciate integrated or interdisciplinary approach. So if interdisciplinary approach can be adopted, working in group and sharing the potential, that would definitely take you forward.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Another question, ma'am. Shall I read, ma'am?
Yes.
How is women culture after 300 BC with after 300 BC? After
It is
300 BC.
incomplete. It is
Women
incomplete also.
women culture. Now, I understand that the person is trying to know how it was after 300 BC. See, actually speaking, in before Sangam age or in a few thousand years back, people were very much, there was only one science. There was no division like physics, chemistry, biology, medicine, nothing like that. It was only philosophy and science which were intertwined. That's why if you see great scientists like Newton and if some of our own scientists, they were all philosophers and they were also scientists. They were mathematicians. That is called a holistic approach. So the holistic approach was lost after that. So they had the divisions and the subdivisions, and that was for good. So, and slowly now, even in the particular discipline, they are just subdividing and going. In those days, they had the holistic approach in science. Now I want to know, since they mentioned about culture, the science was integral part of their living. So the culture, I was just mentioning about olaka in summer. So that is the rod with which they smash the grains and powder it. See, they were singing songs when they were doing it, and a lot of scientific facts. Now we are able to see it is not that they learned science and did it. That science and understanding of science and the principle of working behind all that they observed was their lifestyle. But we forgot that, and now our lifestyle is different, and the science is different, and technology is different. The holistic approach is missing. That is what I again perceive. So that's why they were able, even people who did not study, who did not have, formal education, sang and they wrote poets and they were able to talk science because that was integral part of their living. That's the culture.
In fact,
Yes,
there was
ma'am.
a suggestion, 1 minute, that it has to go STEMP, STEMP, because philosophy is the base. I think some of the participants here mentioned so.
Yeah, but actually the government of India has adopted STEM, and these programs are also under STEM initiative of the government of India only. And some of the, philosophy, that's why I mentioned philosophy is also science. You see, the way of living and the art of living and the science of living is the philosophy. And the way you think, the way you express it, when the expression is scientific, it becomes science. The concept you speak, I can speak the same. Even boiling water, I can just say water. Any villager also will know about how to boil water or how to cook. But scientifically, I will say laws of thermodynamics and heat is given and internal energy is increasing. I'm saying the same thing in scientific. And a mathematician will say the amount of heat given plus this and plus that and add this. That's language of mathematics. Ultimately, it's the art of living, cooking something for our livelihood. That's it, to eat. So it's all how you perceive. So STEM, P, but in our case, they have not included P. And actually, there's a video where I was invited by American Consulate this May 2020. It's available, where we are talking about moving from, especially the two questions putting together, how we moved from this to technology, how from basic science to technology, how technology is bringing us back to basic science. So if you have time, you can watch my video. It's hosted by American Consulate.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Another question, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, how to deal with gender biased guide in laboratory? Your lab mates are male, and I every day listen. You don't know your subject. These kind of demotivating words, and you have to survive there minimum 5 years.
See, my personal advice is to turn deaf ear to them. And you should understand they are talking because they are ignorant of their capacity and ignorant of or refusing to understand what you are capable of. And so when they make mistake because they do not know or they have that kind of a grudges within, why you want to take it, why you want to accept as if that's the truth? And so turning deaf ear, you need to practice. It's not easy. You need to practice. Otherwise, you will get into depression. One. Secondly, if you're not able to manage, then get the approach some senior gender sensitized, again I underline, gender sensitized women faculty who will be able to help you. Third, talk it out. So you can call that person and say, this is not the case. It's all different. You are not able to understand. Maybe you should change your attitude. You can talk directly. If you don't have guts to talk directly and address the issue, don't fight. Never fight. Make them understand. Looking at your boldness and your firmness, they will stop talking. Because I have dealt with such cases in various places. Not in my own case, but from what students talk, and most of the forum, Dr. Manimegalai knows I have free talk and discussion with the students in the hostel, and many students give their positive sharing also. So from their experience of sharing how they dealt with, I'm just telling you.
Is women yes ma'am.
Yeah.
Is women involved in science and technology, it's satisfied?
Involved in science and technology. See, and now see, the whole point is, we are not saying every woman should come into science and technology, engineering, mathematics, and do it. We are not talking about that. We are just saying when women, because I respect all discipline and all. So from my presentation, you would have seen, I can even talk from something from English literature, Tamil literature. I appreciate, I enjoy philosophy. I can even talk about philosophy of how I mean, thought process and historical and anthropological background. I enjoy all the subjects. So we are not saying this is better than that. We are just addressing to so few youngsters who have the liking for science, passionate about doing science and technology, but they are stopped because of this gender biased thoughts within them and what they hear from others, or sometimes the parents and others put them off. So we are trying to help and address their issues. It's not to say that we want to take more towards science and technology. It's not that. Help the people who are having the interest to come to science and come there in the first place, and then proceed further and climb up the academic ladder. That is the only objective here.
Manimegalai ma'am,
There is one question. Now, new sciences emerging from our ancestor, old science only. What is your view?
Ma'am, can you repeat the question?
New sciences emerging from our ancestor, old science only. What is your view? You've already talked about it.
Yeah, I just want to say one or two sentences. See, science is the science from the inception, from the beginning of the world. In a sense, all that existed still exists and will exist. And the scientific principle of the soil or the sunrise or the rain or anything remain the same. So our ancestors understood it and they were using that for their benefit. And as I said, slowly we became so mechanical and so bookish and we forgot, and our lifestyle changed so much. But now we are rediscovering the science and trying to say that is what our answer. Science is the same, was the same, and is the same, and will be remaining the same only. The way we approach science only differs. So that's why we say this is what our ancestors used. Science never changes, it's the same.
I think Neela, we can close. It is already time. No, Neela.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. There is one final question, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We will close, ma'am. There is one final question, ma'am. Is there a norm like a head of the department cannot be made the convener for the internal complaints committee, that is ICC, as per sexual harassment at workplace, ma'am?
No, it is not
I have
like.
answered this. I already there in the chat box. Anyway, you also say.
Okay, I think Manimegli ma'am has already answered, but I want to say it is not so. And if possible, you can refer Tamil Nadu government sexual harassment redressal cell committee GIVO, which came out in 2018, sometimes in July. I think it's dated July 28th or so, 2018, where it clearly says they can be the head of the department can be there.
Okay. Thank you so
this
much,
is Dr. Jennifer.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hello,
Jennifer.
Ma'am, I had asked this question, ma'am. This is pertaining to a sexual harassment complaint, which is there in the limelight for the, I think, for the past 8 months or so. Even from the governor's office, the query came, like whether the chairperson, the convener of the ICC committee, she was only the head of the department then. Now she is the registrar in charge. And when this query came from the governor office, the then registrar and the other senior professors were preparing the reply like in such a way that she is only the head of the department. She is not the chairperson. That is the administrative position. Likewise, they were asking. There was an objection from the alleged professor, and we, the university got a query from the governor office. So even the university website, it is mentioned that the head of the department cannot be the convener of the committee. That's why I'm asking.
Convener of is it women's sexual harassment redressal
yes, ma'am.
committee
ICC,
or internal complaints?
It is internal complaints. Oh, okay.
There are two committees, but actually, if you see the GO of Tamil Nadu government, it permits. So you can get the clarity, and Anna University website has put it up. This communication of government is put up there, where the Secretary Higher Education has circulated it, and it is there in as it is. They have scanned and put it. You can check that.
Sure,
and that will give you clarity. See,
so this, I think both of us are conveners. I am the head of the department,
yes,
and Madam Rita is also head of the department.
Yeah,
even I think I had asked the same question to you, ma'am, in the capacity building. After that, only this thing happened. So they were justifying that. Then I was wondering, how can a senior professor woman will not be head of the department? Naturally, she will be head of the department, right? So how can she be denied of becoming like the convener or nominated as chairperson? So
I don't know what is the logic. Maybe in some universities you would have this rule of only one position at a time. So you are already HOD, you cannot. But this is an additional charge only. It is not a full time this thing. Any gender sensitive person, that is what the law says.
Some rule they had quoted, ma'am, actually. So that's
that I understand. This is in the UGC original thing, 2012 or something. I know what you are talking about. But see, always, I think Manimegli ma'am can also clarify. Always, when the next GO comes, that is supersedes the previous
latest one. Only, yes.
Latest only. When the Tamil Nadu government says you do this in 2018 and sending it, do you think we are all people sitting there and doing and working without knowing anything? When the circular comes, you are expected to adopt a circular, right? You cannot adopt one circular and neglect another circular, right? We are coming under state government. And again, Dr. Jennifer, I want to tell, loopholes are available for everybody.
Okay.
For both the parties.
Yeah, true.
And people mend things, and that's why people sometimes we need to be very firm. And we know, and we have talked enough. I'm sure Madam Professor Manimegli will accept with what I'm talking. And we have faced, such people, steering the rules and regulations. But the latest GO only you should follow. You also have a report.
Yeah.
Okay,
You can
sure, ma'am.
always
Sure.
go
Thank
by
you,
the
ma'am.
rules. So whatever the laws speak, you can present that. And
Okay, sure,
fine.
sure, sure, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I think, Neela, we can conclude.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Dr. S. Shubha, Assistant Professor, Department of Women's Studies, Bharatidas University, to propose the vote of thanks.
Shubha's there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Dr. Shubha is there?
Yes, ma'am. Shubha, ma'am, you
Yeah,
are
yeah.
not audible, ma'am.
Dr. Shubha, please raise your voice.
Shubha, ma'am, you are unmuted, but your voice is not audible, ma'am.
I think there is some problem in connectivity. Her voice is not clear. So, on behalf of all the organizing departments and participants, I owe a lot of gratitude to Professor Rita John for being with us today and presenting a very, very important. In fact, you have got so much information. I mean, appreciation. We never had in other sessions. So all were because you are introducing science and technology, and this is a new dimension for them because they've been hearing very stereotype kind of discussions, and this is the breakthrough. So I think they'll all agree. And on behalf of all the participants, I'm happy that you could make yourself available today to share in a systematic and meticulous way in which the presentation like this should go, because it is after all 45 minutes and the participants are drawn from different states across the country and not from science, and they had appreciated for that. Thank you very much, ma'am, for us for being with us. Thank you once again. I thank Dr. Neela and also my colleagues and participants for their active participation. Thank you.
Thank you all. Meet you all tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We will leave.
Thank you, ma'am.